Now, hi, welcome to the garden. Today we have a guest with us, Dorothy Morgan, nhastrologer.com. And Dorothy's going to come and talk to us because we have an upcoming date of when spring begins. When, everybody says, oh my God, now we're into spring. And it's the 20th, isn't it?
Yes.
This year? Yes, it's the 20th.
Yes.
And Dorothy's going to explain to you some of the peculiarities that those of us on Earth who just read the Farmer's Almanac or watch the Weatherman don't know about the coming of spring, kind of how the seasons pass one to the other, what it means to us now. And also, look, we got some great planetary lineups that are just going to be so much fun to see. And that Dorothy practices a very personal kind of astrology. She's not a gloom and doom. She will never go down as the Nostradamus of our century.
No.
No.
But I'm not, I don't sugarcoat a pile of poo either, though. So
no,
let's be clear.
I like Dorothy because she's straightforward. She did a progress chart for me 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago. And it was so spot on. And that's one reason why I want to have Dorothy here, is because I think she's really good, straightforward, deals with personal astrology. And she's kind of like me. She stays out of politics, which is yay. Okay, Dorothy, let's go. Tell us everything we ever wanted to know about the vernal equinox.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to tell you everything. I am not a scientist, but I know a lot, but I know a fair amount. So yeah, the equinox is coming up, and it is the beginning of the astrological year. We really do celebrate International Astrology Day. It is something we've created, which is beautiful. Spring equinox, and for those who practice earth magic, Ostara, so that is the beginning of that year. It's a Celtic type year. I think it's Germanic, but don't quote me. I might not know that exact, but it is a beautiful time. It is to celebrate this celebration of new life, and it's wonderful. Now, for your time zone, you're in Central Time Zone. The moment of spring will be Saturday, March 20th at 4:37 a.m. So we are going to wake up and have that
and be in a new season,
a whole new season, which I love. It's just wonderful. So until then, if you're watching this ahead of time, until then, we're still in Pisces. We still have a lot of tying up of loose ends, right? That last zodiac sign is a culmination of all the signs before it. So it's like your stone soup. Anything you got, you're going to put in it. That's Pisces. So we want to make sure and honor that. And I know we're talking about the spring equinox, but we do want to, it's spring in the Northern Hemisphere. I do have followers that are in the Southern Hemisphere.
Right.
So we would call it, I think they're trying to shift that to a different name, not necessarily spring, because for them, it's their fall. So it is the March equinox. How about that?
That's fair to everybody.
Yeah,
we all got March.
Fair to everybody, because there are a lot of people in Australia and New Zealand that love and follow astrology just as much as we do here. So needless to say, honor this Pisces period now too. So until we get to March 20th in your time zone, go ahead and adjust to where you live. It's beautiful to just allow the flow to happen, allow your intuition to come through, because Pisces is water, mutable water energy, flow, smooth off the rough edges. Things don't feel clear. That's okay right now. I just made a couple of posts. You can see them right there, or just on my YouTube channel. So we have an opportunity for those things. So what do we want to do with the spring equinox / fall equinox?
Right.
I'm going to share my screen right now. Let's see if I can get that to work. Yes. First we'll see us. And now, do you see the image on the screen?
I can see it. Good. So I presume it's...
they can see it too. If you could see it, that means it's working. What I have here is a picture of facing south. Now this is Stellarium. It's free software online. I love it for the astronomy and the astrology, because even though they've been separated for a very long time, there are many of us that know how to pull it back together. And there are many professional master astrologers out there that pull it together even more. I'm just an amateur at the astronomy piece, but there are some that are absolute experts at the astronomy and the astrology, and they talk about these positions. And I wanted you to see what it really looks like in the sky. So this is
Now,
the
this is
astronomy.
not tonight. This is during the day, right? You
Right.
just made the sky dark. So
I had the sky remain dark. If I had the if I had set the setting so it was daytime, you wouldn't be able to see anything on the screen except for the sun. So I've just made a setting, just a nighttime setting,
okay.
even though this is noontime today in your location. So
Okay.
wherever we're at, this is noontime today in your location. This is the green line is the meridian. So what we have here is the orange line, which is the path of the sun, the ecliptic. This blue curvature, that's the Earth's equator, but it's called the celestial equator. The Earth is tipped, the equator is there, out into space. You guys have seen me do this before on my YouTube channel. It goes out into space, and where the path of the sun, the ecliptic, crosses the celestial equator is the first moment of spring and fall. So here you can see where my mouse is wiggling. This is today because we're not quite at spring yet. This is the moment of Aries. You're going to find this is the science of it. You will see the weathermen in your local time telling you what time it's the first moment of spring. March 20th, my time zone, 5:37 a.m., your time zone, where you are, Nancy, 4:37 a.m., and it will move throughout the country and the globe. That's the moment of spring. It is not the constellations. It is where the celestial equator and the ecliptic cross. Now,
is it crossing the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn? Do you know?
those are the other ends. Those are the other cardinal
okay.
points.
Okay.
So no, they do not cross there. They only cross at the equinox.
Okay. Okay.
They cross at the equinox. And so what we have here, and today I just wanted you to see the sun at, at solar noontime is going to be very, very close to this green line. It's not necessarily the clock time when it reaches the apex. That's more science. I don't want to get into that. Now, I want us to look at this. I have a few of the big stars out here too. So this is the path. The planets have to stay within so many degrees of the path of the sun, or they're not in our solar system. They're not part of our system. That's why Pluto keeps getting booted out. He goes a little far away from this path of the sun. So once in a while, he gets booted out as a planet. And then he comes back, and it's silly. Anyways, here's Saturn. This is where Jupiter is, Mercury, the moon, Venus, and the sun. We go over here to Uranus, and Mars is way over here. So this is the full gamut of what we have going on here. So I want you to see the astrology of it. Let me get my next picture. Here's the astrology. Pluto's not in there, but because they don't want to put him in. I do. I like using Pluto. Here's Saturn. This is the astrology chart. Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Moon, Venus. You couldn't see Neptune because he was blinded by the sun. And here's the sun. There's Uranus. There's Mars. Let's go back. I just want you to make sure you can see this one more time. Here they are. So this is how astrology and astronomy, they match. So what do we want to do with this? What are we saying? So let me pull up the software. Actually, I don't even think I did. Yes, I did. Here it is. Let's open up that spring equinox. Nope, I just want to open it. Open, view. There we go. So here's the spring equinox / fall equinox. And I've done this for Austin, Texas, not knowing exactly where everybody is in a different location, but the numbers would be the same. So here's what it looks like on March 20th. And the only thing in the sign of Aries is the sun right now. Other planets will join within a few weeks or a couple of days, like Venus. So the sun in Aries is about, initiating. This is that new moment, that beginning of. So during this time and at this moment, it's a new beginning. Those cardinal points, the cardinal points, meaning northeast, southwest, the cardinal points in the astrology, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. These energies are about initiating new. Aries is cardinal, initiating, fire, action. We're here for the next month. There are many other things that will add to the influence of what's going on. It's not even an influence. That really is the wrong word. The stars, the planets, they reflect what's happening here on the planet. There have been so many times when the sun enters Aries. We've begun wars. The Gulf War was begun. The Second Gulf War was begun on March 20th. It has a lot of fighting energy to it. Last year, it was a little bit before the this equinox period, when, of course, the whole country and the world had shut down before us here in the United States, of course. But anyways, so how do we use it last year? It was very different than what we can use this year. This year, a lot of people are feeling a renewed sense of excitement and freedom because, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And, people are feeling that. So how do you want to use it? It's really important to find out where this is in your own astrology, of course. Where is your 0 Aries? Those 0 cardinal points in your chart, because everybody's chart's like the Wheel of Fortune. You never know what it's going to look like and where the planets are going to land when you're born. And so we have a lot of integration to do when we look at our own charts. But see if you can find that. If you know a little bit, there's a lot of people studying astrology these days. And even as an amateur astrologer, you can still look and see, where does 0 Aries begin in my chart? Where is it in my chart? And that sector will be active. It's active every year at this time. So it gives you an opportunity to focus in and say, all right, I really want to be more assertive here. I want to take steps towards and fill in the blank, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Up to you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because before Dorothy and I were on the air, I pulled a card for us today. And you can't see it that clearly, but it's the 4 of Crystals. It's from my Inner Child deck. And what the 4 of Crystals means, it's kind of fits with this. It says, build your world on your beliefs and your value system. Focus in on that. And it said you can build your world by concentration, responsibility, devotion, and diligence. Construct new true goals, really true goals. And it can be a house, it can be just a lifestyle or whatever. But the message for me today was, it's the start of the astrologic year. It's a time for us to pick the base we're going to grow from. I mean, a lot of us may have had all kinds of wonderful plans a year ago, but there was no way to build our own thing. I mean, you were kind of stuck in the collective, whether you liked it or not.
Yeah.
I think now we're going to feel a lot more of, I can go out there and do certain things. And you've certainly had a year to sit down and decide what your values are, if nothing else.
Indeed. Yeah.
The fact you're watching me means you are, because I wasn't doing this a year ago.
Oh, you weren't?
Oh, no, I started in December.
That's right.
So I wasn't here a year ago, and I wasn't putting together all these pieces, but
how wonderful. So in the astrology of this too, we also have to, again, I'm only focusing on one thing, and that's that sun in Aries. But it's really important that, whether you can decipher it for yourself or not, is that there is so much more going on here than just the sun moving into Aries.
Right.
But we want to honor that moment. We want to celebrate that moment. And so whatever your beliefs or your own personal practices are, it's on this day, take that time and honor something new that you can begin, whether it's planting a seed, getting some spring bulbs, and planting them into the ground, making initiating a new phone call, do something, honor something, set some goals. We are in a waxing lunar phase. Let me look at which phase that is. It looks like the crescent moon. Yes, it is. A lot of mutable energy in this chart. And we have a bowl chart, because that means everything is sort of within a certain amount of degrees here. And so Dorothy, that means we have a focus. For people who
don't know that term, mutable means you can change things.
Mutable is changeable.
Yeah. Mutable is like mutation. It's like things can move. So,
It is. So think of it seasonal, because I use the tropical zodiac. There are a few different varieties, but I use the tropical, and I already explained what that was. That's where they cross in the sky. And then we divide the circle equally by 12. So that's 30 degrees for each sign. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the mutable. The cardinal signs are the first zodiac sign of each season. The fixed signs are the second zodiac sign of each season. And the mutable signs, this is the most simplest way of explaining it. The mutable signs are the third zodiac sign of each season. So as we're recording this, it's before the equinox. As we're recording it, we're in the sign of Pisces, and we are very mutable, which means it's changing from one season to the next. Some days, like here in New England yesterday, it was 60 degrees, and today it's going to be 50. 2 more days from now, it's going to be back to 30 again. So winter in here is not quite letting go, but we still get samples of what spring is, right? So there's not 4 seasons. We just get that. It's, it's just back and forth and back and forth. That's the mutality, the mutableness of the last zodiac sign of each season. It's shifting, and our minds can be like that. And that's why, again, in the beginning, I said, before we get to this point, before we get to the equinox, the point is we should be very mutable, allow things to flow, allow images or dreams or messages or whatever to come through, and just, close your eyes a little bit. We don't have to see the sharp edges right now. That's what we should be doing until we get to this equinox. And then we still have some of that energy, because that's what all of this right down here, all this Pisces energy is about. It'll still take a little while for us to get into into spring. Weather astrology is based off of these points too. We have to do it locally. For my area where it's at, it's going to be a little bit wet, but warmer than usual. So we would have to do it for each locality, but weather astrology is based off of these seasonal points.
Yeah, 46 years ago when I had my son, it's tomorrow. When we drove to the hospital in Dallas, it was snowing. By the time I had him, the sky was completely clear and the snow was completely gone. But it's this time of year is when everything kind of goes nuts, and you never know, are the red buds going to make it? We have a certain kind of magnolia that blooms really, really early, and a lot of years we never even, it gets like one bud, and then we get a cold snap and it's done. I mean, it's that time of year, guys. It's go Dorothy.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So take that as an opportunity to initiate something new. So this chart, I'll read the rest of the information in this chart. So with all of the Pisces planets that are still present during this equinox moment, again, follow your intuition, pay attention to your dreams. I woke up this morning with somebody in my mind. I'm looking not to buy a house. I'm looking to rent something new. I have to move. And somebody came into my mind, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to message her. And I did. So we'll see if I get a reply. Trust your instincts, follow them. They don't have to go anywhere, but you can still follow them and know that, the universe is conspiring to help. And then we have a lot of Gemini stuff at this moment of spring. So Mars and the moon in Gemini, be open to the messages. This is really close to where the eclipse will be in June. The eclipse in June is at 19 Gemini. So the moment the sun is at the Aries point, we have that moon really close to the eclipse point in June. So we have, to me, this tells me that the things that we begin and initiate in this time period will be quite important for that solar eclipse that we have in June. Very important for that. So I think that's enough information for now.
That's gonna kind of give you lots to think about.
A lot to think about. So take action where you feel you can. Take action. And even if you don't know you or feel you can, well, you really would feel it. You don't want to don't force anything. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Always. But this says that too. Yeah.
But, okay. Is there any other event coming up? And I know the seasonal change is a big one. Is there any other kind of event you see, like in the next month or so. I mean, I'm going to
you
try to
know,
get Dorothy
I,
back on a regular basis, so we don't
yeah.
have to pin her like that. But
Well, there's plenty, you know, I'm not prepared to, I mean, I could look through my ephemeris and that would be boring people because I'm just going to look down and look.
yeah, I
But I
know.
mean, I do regular YouTube stuff. So you're more than welcome to,
Right.
you know, come and
Yeah,
do
you
that.
gotta.
And
It's
I do have, I'll give myself a little plug. I do have a membership thing where it's on Patreon. Once a week, I go really deep, in depth just with the members. And, you
mhm.
know, we can talk about our own charts and all of that. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So there's that. But yeah, just check out go here or to my YouTube channel. I'll probably post this on my own YouTube channel. And, you know,
Mhm.
I do a post 3 to 4 times a month there, just with what's coming up, you
Yeah,
know.
good. Well, keep your eye out for it, because often the other thing I find is I'll hear someone who does like the whole month, and they'll give you all these dates and stuff. And by the end of the month, you don't know where you're supposed to start. I
I
mean,
know.
unless you're really familiar with the stuff. And even if you
Mhm.
are, it's a whole lot. It's like somebody doing someone's tarot reading and doing 14 readings and expecting you to absorb all of them. It
Yeah, you
doesn't.
can't. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I do a monthly thing for the Patreon group as well. So, but that's just a different level. But and you know, having the month ahead, you know, you take notes, you have dates, you get the recording, and
Mhm.
you get to see how it impacts you.
Right.
And then, you know, we pick it apart in the weekly forecast that I do, and you know, all of those things. And so that's just, you know, where it's all at this point in time. But there's still lots of free stuff. But you know, if you're to follow astrology, I mean, it's really important to make sure you're following a person that has been doing this a long time. There's a lot of us astrologers out there that are very young and they're influencers, but there's not a lot of depth to the information that they have. So it's not easy to assimilate or integrate all of the pieces. And I haven't even completely done all of the pieces here.
No, and well, it's just a quick hop through, because
Yeah.
everybody who watches my channel knows you get to see something, and I always tell people it's just because I'm curious,
Yeah.
and you can follow. You know, I did one on ley lines, and now people are writing me asking me all these specifics about ley lines. I gave them 2 books to go read. I'm sorry, I don't know all the stuff that's in that book.
I know I teach beginners and intermediate
Mhm.
and I do that regularly. It's all
Yeah,
online. You know, 80% of my work was online before COVID. Now 99.9 of it's online. I don't do anything in person anymore.
yeah.
But you know, hey, it's what it is. So this is the chart of that moment in time, and we'll just get back to right now. And this is the chart for right now. It's right here, man. This is what right
Mhm.
now looks like. And right now, between now, I'll just give them this, depending on when they're going to see it. But between now and the new moon on March 13th, we're in that balsamic lunar phase, and this period is about, you know, distillation and releasing and letting go. And the new moon on the 13th, there's a lot of context there in my videos I've already posted, so you're able to do that. But this is wonderful, wonderful. Um, it's a wonderful time right now. We don't have to push for new things. Just give it a minute. So if you're watching this before March 13th, which you probably won't be, because I don't think we're going to be able to get this out before then.
No, tech support already told me nothing's going up tonight. So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the share. Very good. All right,
um,
everybody. I hope that was helpful. I hope that
it's
gives you
great.
a little food for thought. Any
Yeah.
questions?
And I really hope people will go over and start following what Dorothy's talking about, following her channel. Because, like I said, I have a
Good.
friend who, every time I talk astrology, she hears astronomy and she hears geometry, and her head closes down. I mean, she said, every time you talk about those squares and those things, I'm back in geometry class, which she truly, absolutely, officially hated. So Dorothy doesn't bomb you like that. The way you talk about it, that's one reason why I like following you. The way you talk about it is conversationally, and you're not going to bury people in
Yeah.
arcane. That's why, that's the one I did know is mutable, because I know I say that to people and then they go, huh? What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I have to remember
Well, you know,
who my audience is and
yeah, well,
speak
your
and speak
audience
to
coming
that.
to NH Astrology are people who are really trying to learn it or follow it. And the people who pop into my garden, they come looking for rocks, they come looking for cards, they come looking for
Yeah.
all the other weird, strange things I
Mhm.
know. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Awesome.
thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having me.
I'm not altogether sure when this will go up, but tech support said I'm going to be out of town for the weekend, so he's going to get to choose when
Well,
he
that'd be
puts.
better to do it after the new moon anyways.
And I will put the program, you said Stellarium is free.
It sure
Okay,
is.
I'll put it in my notes so people can follow it and see how to spell it, because that's another one of those words that one L or two.
It is. Yeah. It's a Stallarium, stellarium.org. Oh, there it is.
Okay, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronomer. I had a telescope. I used to drag it out in the dead of winter in Illinois, standing out there until my parents said, "You have to come in. Your feet are going to be
Yeah.
frozen to the ground." And for those of you who don't know, in Illinois, the best time to see the stars is in the winter, because in the summer we got clouds. But you know, I mean, and I didn't realize what I was really training myself for was astrology.
Yeah.
But it's
Stars are
fascinating.
beautiful, and the sun is, and the sky is usually clearer at night. Night is longer. So yeah, wintertime is beautiful for that. And we have different stars at different times of year. Can't always see Orion or the Dipper at certain times of year. They're out there, and other times they are not visible because they're out during the day.
And if you're in the southern hemisphere, I think you're screwed for seeing Orion. Does it ever make it
I
down?
don't know that. I don't know that much.
I think I've seen the southern stars, and you kind of look up and you go,
it's very different.
Not right.
Yeah, I've never been to the southern. I haven't been down there. I've been to Central America once, and that was my only trip out of the country.
When I was a little kid, my father took me for 2 years, once a month. He had to go in Chicago anyway. He took me in and he dropped me at the planetarium, and I saw all 2 years of their shows, one different one every month.
That's awesome.
And they had a 3-month segment on the southern stars.
Oh, that's cool. I would like to see that. Yeah,
Oh,
I probably could find that online easily now.
Yeah, but it was really cool. And sitting in that place and just being swollen up into the sky. That's what I loved about what Dorothy showed us with Stellarium. You can see it where it is actually in the sky. Then you can see how it's laid down in a chart. And that's why I can read charts and understand charts, because I saw it that way as a child.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I only learned the astronomy about 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked it, but how it related to astrology, I took some classes with
cool.
With one of the masters at the astronomy and of astrology. So he's wonderful.
Yes. Okay.
So,
well, thank you so much for joining us in the garden, and we look forward to having you come again. And I encourage everyone to go look her up. If you search Dorothy Morgan, she's right there.
Here I am.
Take you there happily.
Thank you. Take good care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.